Nintendo fans have been waiting a long time for Hollow Knight Silksong, but in this video we ask the question, will it come to Switch 2? Before we get started with this video, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button and also liking, because that does massively help us out. So, Hollow Knight Silksong, we know it is coming to the Nintendo Switch. We know that for a very long time. It got announced back in 2019, but in today's video we're going to be talking about the Switch 2. Now yesterday, as I'm sure everybody is aware, we actually got the reveal of the Nintendo Switch 2. And in the end of that trailer we saw this. So Nintendo confirmed that it is playable on the Switch 2. So everything that comes out for the Nintendo Switch, both physical and digital, will work on the Switch 2. So yes, technically yes, Hollow Knight will work on the Nintendo Switch 2 because it's coming to the first Switch. But the big question here is, will Hollow Knight Silksong actually look better on the Switch 2? And that is definitely a possibility. It seems like Nintendo is, supporting two different versions of the Switch games and Switch 2 games. So, maybe the developers could actually develop a better version for Switch 2. We know that the game will come to Xbox, will come to PlayStation, will come to Steam, and because we know that it might have some graphical improvements or some better frame rate or different resolution. It's going to look better on those platforms than the original Switch. That's pretty much a given based on how old the original Switch is. But the question we're asking in this video is, will Hollow Knight Silksong have like a patch on the Nintendo Switch 2? So, you buy Silksong on the eShop, right? It's tied to your Nintendo account. You can play it on the Switch 1 or the Switch 2 because it's a Switch 1 game. But when you install it on a Switch 2, could there potentially be a patch from Nintendo to make that game look better? I say a patch from Nintendo, it's going to be a patch from Team Cherry. Will Team Cherry make a Switch 2 version and a Switch 1 version? That is the question we're asking here. Will they actually put in the effort and make it look better on the Switch 2? And, that is hard to tell, really. I mean, they are developing multiple versions for the Xbox, so for the Xbox Series S and the X, they're going to develop two different versions, so maybe they'll do the same for the Switch. But really, the question comes down to Nintendo here. Will Nintendo force developers to make a separate version for the Switch 2? So, will there be two different versions on the eShop? Will there be a Switch 2 version or a Switch 1 version? Or will there just be one version of Silksong, depending on where you download it, will depend on what version you get. Another thing to think about is, Team Cherry. Do they have Switch development kits? Is the game too far in development to develop a Switch 2 version? Of course, they've been working on the game since 2019. Yeah, that's nearer the start of the Switch 1 generation. So I would imagine that maybe they're too far ahead in development to develop a better Switch version. But then again, at the same time, they're also working on better versions for Xbox and PlayStation, so a better Switch 2 version is always a possibility. At the moment, we're not really sure on how this will play out. We don't know if the Switch 2 will just support Switch games, a lot like kind of how the DS did. So the 3DS supported DS games. So it just, you put a DS game into the 3DS and it just played it, that was it. It didn't make it run better, it didn't make it look better. If anything, it made it look a little bit worse. But yeah, 3DS could play DS games perfectly fine. Is the Switch 2 going to be like that? Is it just going to be, yeah, you can put your cartridges into the Switch 2 and you can play them, yeah, you can download them digitally, that kind of thing? Is that just what you're going to be able to do? Or is it going to be more like a PlayStation 5 and, have an update patch, or like an Xbox with an update patch to make it look better on the Switch 2? We don't really know. We don't really know any of the answers to this question. It is very early days, but it is a possibility from, Hollow Knight Silksong, because by the time it comes out, it will probably be, a cross-gen title between the Switch 1 and maybe the Switch 2. By the time we see Hollow Knight Silksong, the Switch 2 could be out. It could just be in our hands. We don't really know. I feel like lots of these questions will be answered in the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. I feel like that will discuss what's going on with kind of upgraded games or backwards compatibility, forwards compatibility, that kind of thing, and how games work on the Switch 2 from the Switch 1. I feel like Nintendo will answer pretty much all our questions in this Direct. And maybe, possibly, could we see Hollow Knight Silksong in this Direct? In my opinion, yes, that is possible. We could see it. I mean, we haven't seen, Hollow Knight Silksong since 2019 from Nintendo. We haven't seen it since 2022 from Xbox. It's been a long time. The developers have been working a long time on this game. And could they be waiting for the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 to finally, talk about Hollow Knight Silksong? It's a possibility. It's all speculation. We could see it in this Nintendo Direct, but, we could also not at the same time. As I said, this is all speculation, but in my opinion, I feel like Team Cherry are working on 2 different versions for the Switch 2 and the Switch 1. And I feel like what they'll do, depending on if it's an update or if it's just, one listing on the eShop or has to be 2 separate versions, they'll still release whatever needs to be released when it's ready pretty much. Whenever Team Cherry are ready to finally release Silksong, there'll be a better version on Switch 2 and a basic version on Switch 1. Whether that is, 2 separate games or just an update patch, we don't know, but I feel like Team Cherry will do their best to make Hollow Knight Silksong look the best on Switch 2, just like they are doing for Xbox and PlayStation. Alright everybody, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Will Hollow Knight Silksong look better on Nintendo Switch 2, or do you think they'll just post the regular version on the Switch 1 and you'll be able to re-download it on your Nintendo Switch 2 and just play it as normal? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video. Cheers for watching.